New episodes of the I Know You Didn't Ask podcast are out every Monday and Friday, available wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. Welcome to I Know You Didn't Ask. I'm your host, Megan O'Donnell, and we are back with another killer episode about what the hell is going on in pop culture. I mean, big news, guys. Huge news. If you follow this show, you know I was prepping and preparing and deeply excited for the Maplewood, New Jersey chili cookout. It was unfortunately canceled. Devastating news for the family, for the household in general. I do have 12 quarts worth of chili in the refrigerator as well as the freezer, so if you're in the area, if you're in Essex County and you're desperate for a hot meal, and not even anything too elaborate, it's a bowl of chili. I've had so much fucking chili in the last 3 days. I actually think I hate chili now, but it's going to be rescheduled for 2 weeks from now. I am unavailable on the rescheduled date, so I tried to do something fun. I tried to do something out of my comfort zone, and then I get fucking stuck with 12 quarts of chili. So you know what? Just everybody stay in your lane. Don't ever try anything new. Just do what you know, and you won't end up with a freezer full of fucking chili. But anyways, like every situation in life, there are ups and downs. There are roses and thorns. I would say the chili situation was a thorn, but a rose was snagging 3 Restoration Hardware lamps for free off the Buy Nothing group that I am a very, very active member on. So you might be seeing behind me, if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, that I have 3 new lamps behind me with no place to go. I need a new apartment for all my lamps, but they were free. One of them is selling on Poshmark right now, the short one, if you're watching the video, for $300. If I did want to sell it, I could. But again, bad juju, you don't do that. You don't put that energy into the Buy Nothing groups, or else you might get burned. And I also feel like another tip for the Buy Nothing groups is that if you want to get good high ticket items, then you have to be giving them as well. So I oftentimes am putting really great items on there for free, and people thankfully, snatch it up pretty quickly. But I feel like that is why I've had really great luck in some of my latest scores. I'm looking at a gorgeous 1938 Studebaker print that I got with a really fun orange frame. I mean, I'm looking at a picture over there that I got. I've been stalking this Facebook group for a while now. So you live in a very high-end town, so it's kind of worth it. Okay, you guys. I don't know if you've been following that little monkey named Punch. He was abandoned by his mother in a zoo. And now, to make him feel better, the zookeepers ended up giving him this orangutan plushie toy and this little tiny monkey. It's called a macaque monkey. Never heard of it. But he's been basically holding hands with this little orangutan plushie throughout the zoo while he tries to figure out his life without his mother. It seems like the other monkeys in the zoo don't want to be his friend, and there was actually video footage of one of the bigger monkeys pushing the little monkey away, and little Punch the monkey went back to his orangutan, his emotional support orangutan. He said, I got my orangutan, these people don't want to be my friends. Thankfully, Punch has found new friends, but I do love that this is a video that has really taken the hearts of Americans. We're so empathetic towards this sweet little monkey. We're I'm watching videos of people getting shot in cold blood on social media, and everyone's like, get over it, you fucking snowflake. And then there's a monkey in a zoo that's been abandoned and was pushed around by another little monkey. Straight to jail. Lock up those little fucking monkeys. Inappropriate behavior, not approved. This little monkey situation has also sparked some, advertising partners, of course. IKEA, the iconic Swedish furniture retailer, #stands with Punch, and has been starting to sell orangutans for $19.99 in honor of the orangutan toy. And I gotta say, IKEA, that's quite steep. You can get a 24-piece dining set at IKEA for $11. Yet the plushie toy is $19.99. Make it make sense. But again, these are the types of news that I can handle right now. I don't know about you, but it's cold as fuck in New York, in New Jersey. It was another fucking blizzard last night, so can't leave the house. Seasonal depression is back. I told you guys, I was in LA for 1 week. and it was glorious. Came back feeling good, pink cloud. Now I'm back to being a fucking miserable East Coaster. This is why people on the East Coast have such foul mouths and, bad bitch attitudes. Because one day you're in LA drinking a mocktail on the roof of Petite Hermitage. The next week, you're trying to fucking shovel the snow off your steps so you can walk to CVS in the middle of a blizzard because you didn't realize you had no toilet paper left. I know this has been like vamping for far too long. That's not really what I do on this show. But let's focus a little bit on what I'm watching. You guys, I'm on season 7 of Mad Men. I have one more season left. I am like clinging on for dear life. Don't end, but I'm also ready to get back to other scripted shows because I have been neglecting the movies. I have been neglecting all of the shows that people have been talking about. I'm like halfway through Heated Rivalry. I'm enjoying it, but I am kind of standing with Martha Stewart. Like, I'm not turned on by the sexual energy happening there, and call me old fashioned, but I don't know. It's just not really doing it for me. I mean, there's moments, some flutters start happening, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I just really think that I hate sports. So like even watching like a show that's supposed to be hot, like anything just surrounding sports is boring and can't keep my attention. So yes, it's sports with a sign of gay sex, but even the sports make the gay sex boring. You know what I mean? What else? I started watching A Love Story, the show about JFK Jr. and Carolyn Bessette. I mean, it must suck to be like in a public couple, right? Like you can't do anything without the press talking about you. And I mean, it's also a hard show to kind of watch because we all know how it ends. So it's like, oh, this love story. One, was it that healthy? Well, I don't know. And two, we know what's going to happen. And I don't think my husband knows what's going to happen. Because in the first episode, he's like, where are they flying to in the plane? I'm like, oh, I don't know. And then I just played dumb too. Because I was like, if he's dumb, I'm dumb. We're dumb together. That's our love story. But I'm excited to actually continue watching it. And I'm also excited to see Ryan Murphy be involved in a show that like doesn't involve like alien rape or like something horrific. Like I remember years ago, and I've always talked about this, but like there was like one American Horror Story where Gaga was in, and I was like, I have to watch it. And like the first episode, there was like big assault. I was like, well, I'm out. Ryan Murphy, you're very creative. We love creativity, but you're a little too creative for me, and I'm not into it. But I have to say, Ryan Murphy, talk about a person in Hollywood who they just keep pumping money into. I mean, his shows do pretty well. He had All's Fair a couple months ago. And was it All's Fair or Fair Enough? All's Fair. Oh yeah, All's Fair. Fair Enough. Oh, fair enough. And that show was pretty major on Hulu. It was technically like slammed by critics in terms of like what was in the show, but a lot of people watched and were talking about it, and it was kind of like a campy show. So the people were watching it, maybe not for the best reasons, but there were eyes on on the show. Okay, who is watching season 10 of Love is Blind? I mean, as of this episode on Monday, February 23rd, I mean, the first 10 episodes are out. I have to say, casting truly outdid themselves year over year. They find new losers somehow. And this cast was definitely a little bit older. It was giving a little bit like early 30s. And I think that age difference between finding people in their early 20s would hopefully weed out people who aren't as serious about the experiment, and they're trying to actively find people who are more ready, willing, and able to get married at the end of this experiment. And it seems like that sentiment was true for some of the women because they're all like accomplished, stable, seemingly normal, beautiful women. But then the men they chose this year were particularly schlubby, superficial, and like kind of losers. Like none of them were like impressive with their careers. And I mean, I feel like we talked about this show feeling like it had run its course last season, which like didn't that last season of Love is Blind end like 18 minutes ago? Like I literally think it was like in the fall. And now we're back with another season. It's like, I guess we're doing 2 a year. But it felt like that season and this season, and I mean, like, people in general, I shouldn't say that this is just a thing with Love is Blind, but it feels like the men on the show in particular are just trying to, like, check off the box of, like, I'm married, okay. Like, not realizing that, like, marriage is a lifelong choice and commitment to somebody, and, like, that person isn't going to be perfect. Like, I really feel like these men are looking for women to be exactly the type of person that they want, that they see in the magazines or on Instagram. They want this woman to also have a great job. They also want this woman to be maternal. They also need this woman to be XYZ, this, that, the other. Perfect, perfect. Like, it's like, it feels like this is a little bit unrealistic. Women have always been held at higher standards than men. We all know this. But this season, it felt particularly unfair towards these beautiful women who are just like attempting to find love, and then they have all these fucking morons clamoring for them, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, I want to get to the end, I want to get engaged, I want to fall in love, I want all of the things, but these are my fucking options, and then you kind of have to just choose the best of the worst. But I mean, let's dig into the couples. We'll start with the least problematic. Christine and Vic, they seem cute. They genuinely seem like they're in love. Like, they're actually two people who I can imagine actually getting to the altar. They are both employed, educated. They seem to have like reasonable conversations with one another about race and religion, how they want to raise their future kids, and the timing of having kids. Like, it feels like they are like a normal, well-adjusted couple who knows how to have conversations, which feels shocking at this point. We as a viewer never find out why they went to Malibu instead of going to Mexico with the other cast. There were 6 other couples outside of them who went to Mexico. So I'm wondering if they were maybe like a back burner couple where production was like, oh, their story isn't that interesting. We'll still film them going to Malibu over a weekend, whatever, but we don't think that they're going to end up being one of the main couples that we feature on the show, because they can only feature a few couples. I would die if I had to go on Love is Blind, do all of the bullshit fanfare, fall in love, get engaged, and they don't even show my fucking wedding and nonsense that I did on the show. It was left on the cutting room floor. I quit my job for this. Fuck that. I mean, they're cute, but they, possibly had that like arrest situation because of weed charges. So maybe they weren't able to leave the country. Who knows? But I like them. I'm excited to see if they actually end up getting to the altar. We have Amber and Jordan. I think they're cute and they might work out. I think like their biggest hurdle is like the single mother thing and him taking on the role of a stepfather, but he seems like a really like nice, loving, easygoing guy, and I like a chubby guy. I like a chubby guy who has a passion for food. I couldn't be with a chubby guy with a passion for food because I'm a chubby girl with a passion for food. So like you can't have two. One person needs to be reining it in. Obviously, Amber's got a gorgeous bod, rock hard abs. I mean, her doing her poses in the reveal moment where you could just see her silhouette was hilarious. She has Barbie's exact like physical silhouette, as well as like the massive beautiful blowout with like so much volume. Like, Amber, what products are you using? Because my hair falls flat immediately, but whatever you're using clearly is working. Because she's like very thin and fit, she's a good counterpart for somebody who's like in love with food. Because I would love if my husband at like, I don't know, 10:40 on a Tuesday was like, babe, let's make pancakes. I'd be like, let's fucking go. I'll go get the syrup from the pantry. But he doesn't do that. Like, he doesn't enable that. A healthy couple cannot have two people who are gluttonous pigs. It just, from my own field research, I've picked up that along the way. I did like that she stood up for Jessica when Chris was talking shit. We will get there, but it was clear that she's a girl's girl and was like, fuck that little twerp bitch. I mean, more to come on that. But yeah, Amber and Jordan, into them, seemingly no drama. Mike and Emma. Mike and Emma, Sweet, sweet couple. She's a sweet girl, but I do believe she needed a little bit more therapy before going on a show like this. Like every conversation was like a trauma dump, and she goes through her entire life story. She's adopted at 3 years old by white parents, which can be very isolating when you are the only, non-white person in your family full of white people. She also had her skin issues, which is obviously, a natural thing for a young woman or any person to be insecure about. And the show absolutely loves like a mystery physical ailment to discuss through the wall. They're like, will the other person on the other side of the wall, decide if they are shallow or not in regards to picking a person who possibly could have something on their arm that might freak them out a little bit in the beginning. And Mike obviously was into her. He didn't care about anything that she had mentioned in regards to how she looks or her, childhood of being adopted. Of course, the main conversations come up when it comes to, her figuring out if she wants to be a mom. And of course, like given all of the things that she had gone through, it makes sense that she would have trepidation about being a mom, whether she would love her child, what would be their relationship, and all of the things. And I think that's natural for every woman. Emma, you better run, girl, because you Mike's Italian American mother, is not as bad as she even could be. And trust and believe, I know women like that. But you will be nothing but a vessel for their grandchildren. So for her to like have to sit there and have the firing squad who have just met her ask her a million questions about whether she wants to be a mom and what's her life like and does she have white parents and are her parents age, like all of the questions that they were asking her were very personal to be asking. Like we could get into this like five hangouts deep. Like it's not really first time meeting conversation. But yeah, I mean, the fucking fake Italian American bullshit. Oh, we call it gravy. Oh, you're Italian American when you call it gravy. Sorry. It's just embarrassing. And I felt like it was mean to this poor girl, Emma. And I feel like Mike should have like told his parents, like, let up a little bit. Like she's still trying to figure things out. And to be honest with you, a guy like Mike, a fucking Italian guy from Jersey, my husband looks exactly like him. Like they're not gonna budge on having a child. And honestly, it's his prerogative. Like it doesn't make sense for two people to get married if one person is very on the fence about wanting to have children and the other person is very steadfast in wanting that. I think that's a very big difference in what the two of you want in your life. And I think it's hard to, find a way to move forward if someone feels like the other person's desire is going to outweigh theirs, which will then create resentment. And yeah, I mean, I get it all the time. Why? How dare I not be pregnant? I've only been married for 5 fucking months. But you know what? I will move on my own path. And right now, I'm attempting to figure out a career as well as attempting to make money to provide for a child. It's so crazy how it works, in 2026. You can't just have it all, can ya? But I don't know if they're going to make it. I don't think they're going to make it. I think Emma needs a little bit more time to figure out what she wants, and she'll find someone great who wants what she wants, but I don't think Mike's the guy to be, hemming and hawing over children with. Okay, well, we have Connor and Breezy. I mean, she's the loudmouth dominant one, he's the passive quiet type, and she's mommying him. It's just exactly what I don't want in a relationship. I mean, she like goes to his house, she rips it apart. It's kind of nasty. I mean, he had a keg and that was incredibly bleak. And he's giving like I drink that keg alone. I feel like they had like a very good relationship in the pods, but there's like no spark or real chemistry. And we saw her relationship with Chris play out when the two of them were in the pods together, and like whatever, they don't move forward together. And the fact that like they're out in Mexico and she keeps saying like, Connor, I need more closure with Chris. Like I need closure. I need to talk to him. Like maybe again, I need to talk to him. Like it's so weird. Like everybody's acting like nothing happened in the pods and like now we have to like, just move forward. And he's like, yeah, well, like but you chose me and I chose you, and we should be happy together. And like, how much more closure do you need with this guy? Like, you're with me, right? And it was like the right choice, right? And that made me feel sad for him because I feel like she's very much like into Chris, which is like hilarious because he's disgusting. And the fact that like anybody's interested in him is pretty shocking. And we get more into their conversations in later episodes where, you know, then Chris is putting Connor down, being like, you think your successful ass dad is going to be okay with a man who works in sanitation? Oh, God for fucking bid. A man works a good job to provide for his fucking life and his family. And Chris says, I think your dad is going to want someone who understands market fluctuations, portfolios, EFTs. Your dad wants a man with a Charles Schwab account. Does Connor even know Charles Schwab? Okay, Chris, I have a Charles Schwab account, and so that means nothing. If you have a Charles Schwab account, you are no better than anybody else. Like, you fucking idiot. It's like a one quick little sign in, login, and you got a Charles Schwab account. But I found that to be so rude and diminished Connor and his career and whatever he has going on in his life. And I mean, we'll get to that little bitch boy. But I don't know, breezy girl, you're not doing it for me. Not doing it for me at all. Then we have Devontae and Brittany. I mean, he is not into her. He's not sexually attracted to her. He doesn't touch her. He kept being like, I've never liked a woman of color. And it's like, wait, what are you? Like, not that like non-white people have to like non-white people, but I don't know. I was like, why are you being so mean to her? She's like a beautiful, gorgeous woman. So they go to her parents' house and it's a full 180. All of a sudden they're like happy-go-lucky. She's gushing all over him. He didn't say a fucking word. She answered all the questions for him and, you know, would like wax poetically about like how happy they are together, yada yada. And then like her fucking weird ass dad, you know, took him aside and they were talking, and then his dad did again the monologuing. Like, there was no conversation. He didn't say a fucking word. He didn't need to because he couldn't get a word in edgewise. But her dad being like, the word divorce does not exist in my vocabulary. We do not believe in that. And she's like, yeah, Sam, I don't believe in that shit. We don't fucking believe in divorce. Like, well, you're gonna have to start believing in it, because you're going to have to start saying it if those two actually make it to the altar. I can't imagine they even make it to the altar. Like, don't waste everybody's time. Don't waste production's time. Don't waste your friends and family's time. Do not make your loved ones go dress shopping for your fake wedding with this loser who's not into you. Do not do it, girl. You better fucking run away. Being a runaway bride is a lot easier than explaining to your dad what divorce is. Like, I don't want that for you, Brittany. Run, please. Then we have Jessica and her shouty little boy Chris, who really enjoys putting her down. They fell in love in the pods where love is blind, and everything was aligned in the pods. It was all good. Then they get into the real world and he's repulsed by her. He's repulsed by a beautiful woman. He said, love is not blind. I'm disgusted by you. Basically, he tells her, I think you should be doing Pilates every day. Like, that's kind of my type of gal. And he's into cold plunges and CrossFit, which are two of my worst nightmares. When I see content creators posting videos of themselves doing a cold plunge, I want to take their phone and throw it into the cold plunge. And I want them to be offline for the foreseeable future. No one wants to see your shivering, bony ass in a tub of freezing cold water to prove that for 43 seconds of the day you can do something hard. I'm done with cold plunges. I have cold plunged. I enjoy a cold plunge. Have you ever seen me cold plunge? No. Because I have fucking boundaries in my fucking life. I don't cold plunge for the public. But anyways, yeah, he's like talking to the other girls about how like completely disgusted he is with her. He said it's not like she's morbidly obese. It's like, what? She's a woman who's 38. She's not 22. Like, yeah, maybe she has like a little pooch in her stomach, but like, who the fuck doesn't? you big dummy. And then he like continues on being like, she was the worst sex of my life. And like, what do you know about good sex, you little bitch? Like, you're a 6 in Ohio hotness, which makes you a 2 in hotness in New York. I'm a 9 in Ohio. I'm a 6.5 in New York on a good day. But I'm shocked he's had sex with more than 3 people in his entire life, because what girl goes on a date with him after meeting him on Bumble and says, yeah, let me go back to this guy's fucking dungeon. He's going to make me do a cold plunge and we're going to have to fucking watch CrossFit videos on YouTube. I'd rather die. I would absolutely rather die. You guys, I did miss a couple. Ashley and Alex, hot blonde with the former hot soccer player. He's very hot, but he has demon liar eyes. And we have all been burned by a man in their 30s who is still saying, if I just didn't tear my fucking ACL in my junior year of high school, I would have played D1 hockey. Like, okay, sure, Jan, you weren't that fucking good. And I mean, he's still talking about his soccer career, and I get that. When you're on the track to becoming a professional, you spend your whole life practicing for something, and then it goes away in an instant. I understand that that's a very hard pill to swallow. I get it. But we don't need to be talking about it every 3 minutes. And now he's got a podcast called Play Life Beautifully, all about fucking soccer, and his mom's a fucking guest, which we'll get to the mom. But basically, the two of them have a weird relationship. Again, sex is on the table. These people like don't know each other, so like them all having sex very quickly is like really expediting the like physical, emotional relationship that they're having. So it seems like when they got back from Mexico, she was on her period, and he like refuses to touch her. I wonder if he knows you can only get pregnant with like intercourse and ejaculation. Like, you can still touch someone, you can still go to second or third base if you're frisky like that. Like, you can still have some fun. And she said, you can still touch me while I'm on my period. And he said, I don't know that necessarily. Like, I'm sorry. Did you grow up in Florida where there's no sex education? And this, again, is a reason why sex education should exist. I like that these Republicans are like, sex education is starting in kindergarten. It's like, is it? Because no one's fucking listening. Because these men don't know how to get women pregnant. It's fucking shocking. You know, he does like continue on saying like, I was, born out of an unexpected pregnancy. And obviously his mom let him know that. So he might not want a child who is in that exact same situation. However, Ashley is like, guy, but I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to trap you. I don't know what you're doing. And then he wants to like her to add him to her period tracking app so that he can be aware of what's going on. I mean, I can't keep this guy's story straight. And I mean, we'll get to her father interrogating him. And I don't know about you, but lawyers are so fucking annoying. I get like you want to be like helpful for your daughter and try to weed out this jerk, but like you ask 1,000 questions, you think he's lying, then you shake his hand at the end of the fucking meal and it's all good. It's like, well, what the fuck was this? Like, I mean, the grilling was aggressive, but like, can you just eat your fucking appetizer and chill out? And even the editors were like adding like very funny music during the entire interrogation because like it was aggressive at a certain point. Like, there were other people at this dinner, like, just eat your fucking appetizer and chill out, get to know the guy a little bit. I mean, he's obviously a liar. He's lived in Australia, Los Angeles, like all these places, all these fake jobs, all this bullshit. And I mean, his mother is a truck driver in Arizona. The two of them are giving witness protection program. What the fuck crime did the two of you commit together that for whatever reason you thought you were going to get away with and now come on to Love is Blind? I just don't know anybody with the fake ass background like the two of them have. And like, what was he also doing in Columbus, Ohio? Like, he had this like fabulous life, traveling Florida, Australia, doing this, that, the other, trading on the stock market, and now he's like in the local dating scene in Columbus, Ohio, and is now going to be on Love is Blind. Like, I don't know. His entire backstory doesn't make sense. These two will be breaking up absolutely within the next 3 episodes that come out. I mean, I think we're gonna get like another chunk of episodes and then we'll get the wedding chunk. I mean, again, if I see Alex in a motherfucking tuxedo, I'm gonna be really pissed off. Unless we do see some of his friends and they kind of blow up his spot. Like, bro, that's a bold face lie. You did not live there. You did not do that. You did not date her. Like, I want his friends to come in to blow up his spot. I don't think they will. And he might be like that Russian guy from last season who had his mommy come to tux shopping. Just made me want to throw up. Get a friend. Find one friend to go on your fake television show for your fake wedding. They're not going to make it. Again, he has a podcast. His YouTube numbers are looking similar to mine, if not a lot more. He has 200 views on his last video, which is more than my last video. So I guess good for you, Alex. You're doing great work. I mean, is love blind? No, it's not. I mean, you could be aligned on everything within your life, your morals, your values, your desires for children, where you want to live, everything. This is perfect. But the reality is, like, you can't guarantee that you'll be sexually attracted to somebody, even though you have everything on paper that should make you two perfect for one another. Also, like, the people you might be like really sexually attracted to may not be the person you should ever love. So it goes both ways, and this show is just so fascinating to watch. It's so fascinating. I'm sorry. I like it. It's shit, but I like it. I will say the New York Post had a big article today. Ethan Hawke is incredibly vulgar. And I said, instant click. And it said, Ethan Hawke candidly made a cheeky sex confession while answering whether or not it's bad to eat in bed. He said, incredibly vulgar things are going through my brain right now. I like to eat in bed, but I don't eat food. Got it? See, these men need to take a page from Ethan Hawke's book because he's not eating in bed. He's eating women. You know, he's not like a Chris, who we all fucking know is a selfish lover. He's eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner in bed with his lover. Now that's what's up. That's what I'm interested in. Quick pivot. Netflix's reality check inside America's Next Top Model. So this was a documentary that we talked about like 2 weeks ago when we were talking about it being released, and it came out 3-parter. And Brandon from Page Pop, who was on the show, was featured in the documentary. He had no idea, so definitely go back and listen to that episode with him. It was so much fun, and just follow him on Instagram as well. But he had no idea his TikTok was going to be featured in the doc. But basically, this is about America's Next Top Model. There were 24 seasons. It ended in 2018. The 24 seasons kind of ranged from the original concept to short models to men to college to British. And during this documentary, we kind of talk about the Tyra era of the show. I mean, Rita Ora, poor girl, took Tyra's place. Talk about finding a deeply lackluster person to take over Tyra's throne. But we do find out at the end of this 3-part documentary that a 25th season will be brought back, which is funny and shocking and scary considering what we saw in this 3-part documentary. So it's like, we saw the 15 years of chaos that this show created. Why are we redoing it? Like, I think we're done. Like, let's put an end to it. But again, we'll be watching. We don't know where it's going to be playing, but I will be watching. So this documentary was particularly interesting to me because Tyra herself was given no power over the documentary, because a lot of times these documentaries about a show or a person will have the talent that they're talking about as the executive producer, which gives the documentary a little bit more clout, but also limits what the person is willing to have exposed about themselves. You know, I think Charlie Sheen was a good example. Like, he gave us a bunch of fascinating information about him, and he talked about liking men sexually, and that was like a whole big thing. But, you know, they didn't go too deep into that. And had he not been the executive producer, then maybe the director could have asked more follow-up questions. He didn't go into really his relationship with his dad or his brothers currently. So, you know, when you're a part of your own documentary, you have creative control in a sense. Whereas Tyra in this situation had no approval over anything that was featured throughout the documentary. She didn't get paid. She didn't have any questions in advance, so she couldn't prep. So it seems like the documentary was very raw because she was simply being interviewed. It was not the Tyra Banks documentary. It was Inside America's Next Top Model, and Tyra happened to be there. Tyra was also not even able to get a screener of the docuseries before we saw it this past week, and that'll be pretty hard to binge that if you are the monster in the docuseries. Like, I wonder if she even fucking watched it. That would be shocking. Tyra was there very much, trying to figure out who, allowed production to make this ridiculous show. Like, she was not taking any responsibility for her role in the show and how harmful it was to so many of the models and her fellow judges on the show. She was wearing her trench coat. She was incredibly serious. But throughout her interview, she said more than once that, she didn't have a final say in the decisions. And at one point, she did kind of acknowledge a little bit, towards the end, she said, how people kind of evolve from mistakes, and she continues to evolve because that's what we're all doing. Again, she didn't say, I can't believe I put people in this situation. I can't believe I degraded people. And Tyra very much profited off of this show and the show's success with her own talk show. Now she's an ice cream entrepreneur. It's wild when you watch all of these women coming forward from season 1 up until the end with similar stories about how they felt like gradually their challenges that they were a part of were becoming more and more tone deaf and challenging, as well as the body modifications over time were just getting more gruesome and unnecessary. I mean, we literally saw people going in and having like 10 hours of teeth extractions and dental work, and them forcing a woman to close the gap in between her teeth when she had made it very, very clear she did not want to do it. And they closed it up just a little bit, but still, that's pretty fucking major. It's your face. And it's not a haircut that can grow back. But they mentioned Ken Mock, the executive producer, had been talking about how during the time that America's Next Top Model was becoming very successful, it was also at the same time where shows like Survivor and Fear Factor were really upping the ante on crazy shit that you can get away with on television, especially on these reality shows. And we can't forget that these reality shows are not protected by unions. The talent are not protected by anybody. The only people who could possibly protect them would be production, which is Ken Mock and Tyra, who is also executive producing the show. So as time went on, they would have these challenges become more and more insane to kind of match that insanity that viewers were seeing on other networks. But like, I'm sorry, like, I loved fashion as a young girl, and I still do. I love being on set. I love shoots. I literally am a producer for a living because I've loved this my whole life, and seeing a show like this gave me so much of like a BTS behind the scenes idea of what goes into a shoot. And I feel like it could have actually stayed in more of the fashion, creative direction, photography, locations world as a show, rather than getting into like insane stunts like spiders, tarantulas on your faces. Like, they literally were having the girls dress up as homeless, bulimic, fucking drug addicts, like victims of violent crimes. My favorite reminder from the America's Next Top Model documentary was about the switching race photo shoot. I recall that photo shoot happening, but what I did not remember was that they also were tasked with holding a 3-year-old at the time. So now a white girl is now Asian with her Asian child, and she also had a milk mustache. How can a model get into character when there are just so many characters you need to play? It's not fair. I mean, Jay Emanuel was there. He was obviously on camera personality as a judge and was the creative director on Top Model, helping kind of come up with all the ideas. And that was another, point of contention too, where he's like, I was just hired help. Like, I wasn't in production meetings coming up with these stunts. And over time, he obviously felt the shift in the content that they were putting out. And, he was like, it wasn't my show, but I was happy to be on it. It was great exposure, yada, yada, the usual. He protected Tyra then. He was pretty cagey with, talking too much shit about her. They still don't talk, and he talks about his experience trying to leave the show at a certain point. And at that point, she basically like ghosted him and only was really willing to talk to him if they were on camera. They had no relationship after, he said he wanted to leave, which is disappointing because at a certain point everybody has to change their job. Some people don't, maybe, but like he knew like this wasn't working for me, and she just like couldn't accept that. And that's sad. I mean, Miss J, whew, an iconic wordsmith. I mean, I had no idea he had suffered a stroke back in December of 2022. He unfortunately was in a coma for 5 weeks. He was left unable to speak or walk, and he was seen in a wheelchair throughout the documentary. And, he had delayed speech, and I was just so devastated by this. I had no idea, and I was just so proud that he was able to find the strength and the ability to come and speak at the interviews for this documentary. I mean, it's so sad. It's so sad to see that happen to somebody who seemingly is young, I guess. I have no idea how old Miss J is. Would never ask a woman how old she is. But she talks about, I don't know what pronoun Miss J is. I said like 7 different pronouns, but whatever. They were saying, I taught women how to walk, and now I can't walk. And there's a bit of irony to that. And oh my God, it was really sad to see that Tyra just didn't support him. Even when she knew that he had had a stroke, where both Nigel and J. Manuel had visited him, Tyra didn't reach out and, never planned anything to go see him. And, that's pretty disgusting. They spent 15 years working together, so it's pretty fucking cruel, to be honest with you. And then there was Nigel Barker. I mean, BDE back then and to this day. I mean, they needed a token straight white dude. They were like, there's a lot going on between Tyra and the Jays. Like, we need a safe, boring white. And he was lovely. No real major issues. He had like a couple of lines. I don't even remember what he said to the ladies, which like was like nothing in comparison to what the others would say to them. So like his like one quippy remark, like, wasn't kind, but like it felt like tepid in comparison. The documentary also features a bunch of other ladies who, were, victims of the show. There was Tiffany, of course, like we were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. Tyra freak out moment. And it kind of seems like Tyra took a chance on her. They brought her back because they saw a lot of potential in her. And then I guess when she got let go, she was like snickering and was being flippant about leaving, and that just like set Tyra the fuck off, and she screamed at her and like had this whole big meltdown. Honestly, even other judges were saying like this was so much worse than what you guys even saw on television. Like she said some things that like I will go to the grave never saying. Oh my God, I felt so bad for Tiffany. And again, nobody deserves to be spoken to like that. Like, yes, it's a competition show. Yes, everybody should be taking it seriously. But also, like, this is not fucking life or death. There was also Shandy. We're only going to go through a few people or else we'll be here for 16 hours. But she was a sweet working girl from the Walgreens who was in an earlier season. They all went to Milan. They were on their, go-sees, going around town, driving around on Vespas. All the girls and the guys go back to the apartment. They get wasted. They're partying in the hot tub, drinking wine. She hooks up in the shower. And frankly, she was probably just far too drunk to really consent or to know what she was doing. She had a boyfriend at the time. And they show it all on the show. They show, them drinking. They show the escalation in the hot tub. They show them in the shower, they show them in the bed, and it's incredibly exploitative. And this poor girl was like, I have a fucking boyfriend at home, like I already cheated, like I already have to deal with the fallout of my actions, and now I have to deal with it on television. Like this is fucking terrible. It was devastating and so sad. She's a young girl, and she said like, yeah, after we got off the show, like my boyfriend and I were still together, and then we went to Manhattan one day. People were like screaming whore at me on the street. Like, fuck off. People are also fucking disgusting. But Ken Mock, the EP of the show, basically was like, everybody knew this was a documentary when they signed up for this show. That means everything was taped. And he even goes on to say like, we didn't even show the half of the crazy shit that happened. So I mean, that is what happens when you have like 20 women. Like, something's gonna fucking pop off. Not even just women. If you just have 20 people being filmed in a competitive environment and nobody's like eating a lot, like, people are going to get fucking crazy. But I mean, season 25, we don't know any details about it. I mean, it's going to be different. It's going to be cool. It's going to be interesting. And we'll see if the winner of the 25th season actually has any like real success from this show. A lot of what they were talking about in the documentary was that, you know, the show didn't give them like this amazing like launching pad for great success as a model. Some of them were actually, you know, dinged in their career because they were associated with Tyra and America's Next Top Model. So we'll see if that would actually like give a model, you know, a new platform in the day and age that we're living in now, where social media kind of rules the roost. So I would also wonder if like the models that they would pick would be like more Instagram looking models or like high fashion models. I think it'd be an interesting, you know, difference, because it's a different look. Let's be real. But anyways, you guys, I mean, we're gonna finish up soon because it's dinner time. But Nick Reiner was in court today. He pleaded not guilty. He's got a shaved head. He's looking scary. Even his public defender was like, "Get me the fuck out of here." He's back in court in April, but we'll see where that fucking nut job lands. And again, like, mental health is so important. But he obviously has, you know, taken things to another level of psychosis, you know, to kill your parents. So he's either going to be facing life in prison without a chance of parole or the death penalty. So either way, it's not looking too hot for you, Nick Reiner. And then we just have Nancy Guthrie. No freaking updates. The devastating situation is just not going to end well for the Guthrie family. Where is this sweet woman? And like, is she in a basement dead somewhere? Like, I don't know. Unfortunately, like, at this point, it's been over 23 days. Nothing good is going to come from this. I mean, there were some gloves that they found near the Guthrie home, but unfortunately, they did DNA testing and it didn't match any, you know, entries that they have in their whatever DNA data bank. And then a volunteer group actually ended up recovering a backpack that was handed over to law enforcement. Ring cam footage is great for trying to crack the case, especially like in this Nancy Guthrie thing, but like, ring cameras are terrible for high school kids just trying to come in and out without the whole family getting an alert. Like, your parents already know when you're late, when you're trying to sneak in or out. Like, let the kid live. This is why kids are so fucked up these days, because they can't do shit without their parents tracking them. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to I Know You Didn't Ask. I appreciate you guys hanging in there. I've just been dealing with being an adult with a job. It's fucking hard, but we are prevailing. I have 3 new lamps. If you aren't watching on YouTube, you don't know that I have 3 new fucking lamps. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your week and enjoy next week's episode. Bye. New episodes of the I Know You Didn't Ask podcast are out every Monday and Friday, available wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube.